staying. I appreciate it. I'm very excited about this session. Together with Stephanie Zembal from Palo Alto Networks, I'm excited because Stephanie has been using our True Channel Marketing Automation platform for a little bit more than a year, I think, maybe 1.5. But you can explain more about it. But she is going to share with this audience her best practices, like how she is, on her journey to make successful use of True Channel Marketing Automation, and that's on a global level. You're global responsible for channel marketing within Palo Alto Networks, so that's a big thing, a lot of partners. Everybody knows me, I think, now. For the people that don't know me, I'm responsible for all the marketing automation solutions, so I'm very happy that she's using our platform. Could you explain a little bit more, Stephanie, about the company, Palo Alto Networks, and about your ecosystem?
Absolutely, thanks, Emile. And I left my clicker back there, so you're going to have to do.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you. So first I just want to get a feel for who's in the audience. So by show of hands, how many people have already launched their platform? So a few of you, and then keep your hands up. And then how many of you are working on launching a platform or about ready to launch a platform? Okay, so I want you to, with your hands up, high five the person next to you. Because you all deserve a high five because it's a lot of work to launch a platform. It's a lot of behind the scenes work. Nobody sees you doing it. Nobody knows all of the effort that goes into it. I've been there, so you all deserve recognition. You all deserve a big high five. Also, thank you for being here right now because I know that we are the only thing standing in between you and lunch. So I appreciate you hanging in for a little while and staying here with us.
I'm going to give you a high five.
Oh, thanks.
The clicker.
Okay,
there you go.
Thank you. Okay, so let's move forward. There we go. So who is Palo Alto Networks? So we are a global cybersecurity leader, and our mission is to be the global cybersecurity partner of choice, protecting our digital way of life so that each day is one day safer and more secure than the one before. As you can see from the list on the screen, the world's most valuable enterprises trust us to secure them. Not surprisingly, we also partner with some of the largest companies in the world. Our partner ecosystem consists of more than 20,000, I know that's a huge number, a little bit daunting, 20,000 VARs, DISTs, GSIs, MSSPs, tech partners, all the acronyms. And these partners are a huge focus for us. We rely on them to help us grow, scale, and deliver our technologies to market. We consider them an extension of our own sales and services teams, probably like most of you with your partners. In fact, you can see the stat here, 92% is huge. 92% of our sales are transacted via a two-tier channel model. So obviously, enabling them to market and sell is absolutely critical to our business success.
Awesome. So thanks for the explanation, at least around Palo Alto and the ecosystem itself. We just saw a lot of thinkers raised the question like how many people use TCMA or are starting to use TCMA, so that's very good. There might be also people that don't know what TCMA is. We made that joke last year, like TCMA what? That's sometimes that we hear like, what is TCMA? So TCMA is true channel marketing automation. And let me just explain it in a nutshell before people think like, what are we actually talking about, right? What is he using? So if you have the vendor, so let's say Palo Alto Networks, they have, their partners, the local partners, in this case, across the globe. And there's a reason for it, it's because, you want to make your business scalable. If you want to make your business scalable, it's not just sales, it's also marketing. So most of those organizations might be or system integrators or real sales organizations to resell the Palo Alto Networks products. But what we found out is that a lot of those organizations, the bigger ones are, they do have marketing people with the long tail. Most of those companies don't have marketing people, right? But you still want to enable them to do marketing based on your products or your services to create that demand in the market, because that's why you have your partners. So if you look at those partners, then they have their existing contacts in their databases, and that's very interesting for a vendor to reach out to those existing contacts and say like, hey, are you interested in these solutions? But there is also a huge group of unknown contacts. That means these are the people that are actually interested in the solutions of Palo Alto Networks, but the partners don't have them in the database. Right? So 2 different audiences, and what you can do with TCMA, you can basically facilitate and enable those partners to create demand with their existing contact databases and with the unknown audiences, but you need different tactics for it. So it's important to understand. So if you look at the list of, let's say, different tactics here, you can see landing pages, microsites with product information about Palo Alto Networks, emails, social, but you can also think about advertising, right? So the traditional TCMA, the traditional organic tactics like email and social, are really for nurturing, engaging with your existing contacts of the partners. So basically what you do, you centralize all that content, and the system, the TCMA platform, will automatically create a personalized version per partner with their logo on it, their contact details. So that could be the landing page, it could be the email. So per partner, it will be automatically co-branded, right? And then that partner can take that content and send it out, and send an email, and send a social post or existing contacts and engage with them, because actually these are already leads, because they have them in the database, but you try to turn them into a sales opportunity, and at the end, of course, in a deal. And you as a vendor want to support them, want to support your partners to make that happen. That's why you have TCMA. So that's the known context. If you talk about the unknown audiences, it's very simple. If you don't have them in your database, you can't send them an email. Today you can also not buy a list, because that's not allowed according to the privacy laws, right? You need the opt-in. You can also don't send them a social post, because they're not a follower. So the traditional TCMA tactics you can't use for the unknown audiences in the best way. That's where you have advertising, like a Google Ads solution, in which people that you don't know yet, they show their interest on Google. And that's the moment that you say, like, let's show the ad. And the Google Ads solution, and we do have support nowadays also, let's say Facebook or LinkedIn campaigns, you can basically enable the partners to run these kind of campaigns, fully personalized. They don't need any knowledge around this to make that happen. Today, Palo Alto Networks is using the traditional marketing, right? The social and the email. I want to make that clear. The next steps, that's what we've been discussing, is the next steps is around the unknown audiences, because that's a huge audience to tap into. That's the new lead generation, right? That's real new leads that if you contact them, you put them in your database, and you can start nurturing them with the traditional techniques. So I just wanted to make that very clear, that that's how it works. Before I go into, we go into all the details like how we do the best practices around this. So I hope that it makes it clear like what true channel marketing automation is. Yep. I see some people nodding, so that sounds like confirmed. Perfect. So before we go into the best practices, I just want to tell you a little bit of a story. So who recognizes, let's say, the road atlas or who has used a road atlas? So these are people that are older than sorry about you. I've used it a lot, so tell something about my age. Who remembers the pain of that road atlas? Did you? Yeah, there, Brett, of course. He found out the pain. In Dutch, actually, it's stratenboek. Nice words, right? Stratenboek. It's the same. So when I was in 2000. I was working for a software company, and basically I had the responsibility of one on the partners. So I had to train them on our products, I had to do marketing and sales together with them. So those one on the partners, and I'm from the Netherlands, and the Netherlands is a small country, so you can take the car and just drive to all of those partners. That's what I did in 2000. And I used this road atlas, the Stratenboek, to get to my destination, because I didn't know exactly where they all were, right? Those 100. But I had to visit them because, I had to train them, and so I was in the car all the time. So this book I used a lot, and it gave me a lot of pain, but there was no alternative at that moment. So, just to explain a little bit, like before I went to a partner, I just opened up my book, the index, would find the street, city name, and it was saying page number 365, C3, and page 365, had to write down, let's say, which exit, which streets I had to name to take, second left, third right, take the roundabout. So I put everything on a little paper, jumped in my car, start driving, and then halfway in the city that I needed to be, I got lost. Right? That happened quite a lot. Do you recognize that? Yeah, I think so. Because everybody that used a book like this, they got lost once time, 2 times. I got lost quite a lot of time. So that's annoying. I had to take the book again and do everything again. Right? And then finally I was at my destination, the partner, and then I could talk the business. And that's actually my second story in this story, because in 2002, I was one of the first customers using TCMA. So I'm using, at that time, 2002, already content syndication, syndicating content to partner websites, and the email module to provide emails. And when I was at my partners, I gave them sort of campaign kits, and then I trained them on the products, and my question after that with marketing was like, hey, I gave you all this content, did you use it? And the default answer was like, no, we didn't use it. We didn't use it. Why? Why didn't you use it? Oh, I didn't have the time, and there's a lot of content I had to find out like which ones to use, so we didn't have the time to do it. Right? So that was pretty annoying for me. And I think in general, TCMA, the only thing to make it successful if you've got adoption and engagement. And engagement means like people start to use your content. Right? It's a lot of work to create all that content, we will find out. A lot of work, but you need them to use it. And I was struggling myself. And then in 2004, I had this magic moment. And I think that you all have had the same magic moment somewhere during time. That was the car navigation. The car navigation was like, wow, I knew what it was supposed to do, but I was still surprised and happy as a child when I was using it for the first time. Just in my car, type in the destination, and it did everything for me. So I didn't have to do anything anymore. Even if I took the wrong turn, it was just recalculating and saying, like, now you need to take this street. So it made my life very, very easy. That was the moment that I was in the car and I used my car navigation, that I thought, like, wait a minute, this device is making my life so much easier. It even allows some people in my family that didn't want to travel to certain places because they didn't like the book and it got lost, right? They started using it. So that was the moment that I thought, like, maybe I should be the TCMA navigator of my partners, right? Let me do that for them. So that's what I changed in my behavior. I went to my partners with my new navigation, really happy, and then I told them, like, you know what? I know that you've not been using it. Let me do it for you. Let me do it on behalf of you. Is that okay? And I went pretty far. So I said, like, it was not cloud at that time, right? So take me to your computer where the software is, and I upload your email list. I'll do it for you. I press the buttons for instance, an event. Right? I organize the event for you. I organize everything for you. So I did all the work for the partner. That was a lot of work for me. But I can tell you, after 1 year, my revenue increased to 200%. That's triple what I had before. And the only reason why is because I gave them a lot of convenience. I gave them so much convenience that there was no reason for them to say, like, I'm not going to participate because I did the work for them. But I had to do it all manually. Of course, today that's changed because I don't see Stephanie driving around across the world to do all this work. Today we do that a little bit different. But what I want to say, like, most people, those partners were not lazy, right? That's when I talk to other vendors, they say, like, oh, those partners are lazy. They were not lazy. They just appreciate the convenience. That's how you can make the difference. And that's how I made the difference and beat the competition at that time, already back in 2002. So, talking about that convenience, I would actually love to hand it back to you because you created a lot of convenience for your partners. And there's still a lot to do, but maybe you could explain more around when you started TCMA, what were your goals, what were your challenges, and the steps that you took.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so this model that you see up here probably looks familiar to all of you. Our partners rely on us to deliver turnkey, co-branded channel campaigns so that they can communicate with their customers and prospects in a way that is consistent with our own Palo Alto digital and other marketing materials. It's also important to us, probably to you too, that they stay on brand, that they don't put weird logos in or change your messaging or do any of those other things with your marketing materials. The problem is that most of our partners have fairly small marketing teams. Even if they have a large marketing team, they definitely don't have a 1-to-1 ratio where they only have, generally, they don't have a 1-to-1 ratio. So they don't have the time or resources to be able to create all of those materials on their own, to update the pages of their website with Palo Alto content, to create co-branded email campaigns, to launch social media programs. And so they are relying on us to deliver that for them. Likewise, at Palo, we don't have unlimited marketing resources. And so we need to be able to support those partners and give them the materials that they need in order to go to market with limited resources. And when I say resources, I'm really talking about headcount. So we don't have an Emile driving around to every partner, pushing buttons and uploading their list and helping them do those things. And so that's really where TCMA comes in for us, because even though we don't have all of those things, we transact 92% of our business through two-tier channel. So we still have to be able to support these partners, because partners who are running our campaigns are generating leads for us, which turn into customers, which then results in that revenue that we've talked about. So when we first started out, an Emile reference, when I first started in my current role at Palo, we were uploading our campaign resources to a partner portal on our own partner website, and we would upload we were creating materials. They were there, the emails, the social posts, the graphics, the assets, the report, the infographic, whatever that was. But we would just dump them onto the partner portal, and we would hope that a partner would find them, and hope that the partner would actually know what to do with it when they found it, and then hope that they would actually use it after they found it. We had zero metrics. We didn't know what was being downloaded. We didn't know what was being used. We didn't know how it was performing if it was being used. And so while hope is definitely virtue, not a great strategy. Not a great strategy for us. And so that's where TCMA came in, and it has been pivotal in helping us enable our partners, because we have now been able to take that partner platform, and instead of just dumping assets onto our portal, we are sending our partners into the TCMA through Channel Marketing Automation Platform, where they can find campaign kits, where they have emails that they can set up a nurture stream in just a matter of minutes. It's fantastic. Where they can execute social media campaigns very simply, setting up their account. We have seen huge engagement, which has been exciting. We're actually able to track it, also very exciting. Those of you who actually have to report up to someone, that's probably everybody, you have to deliver results, you have to tell them what's going on. The metrics are huge. And so the portal comes in there.
Yep. So let me talk about this one. So I think what you mentioned to me is also the relationship between, let's say, the usage of the platform with certain partners and the performance that you've seen. Like I've been able to measure my performance at that time, the 200% increase of my revenue by using the platform, but do it on behalf of them. You mentioned you've also seen at least the correlation, right? You can't measure it directly, but you've seen the correlation between engagement partners that are really engaged into TCMA and starting to use it, and the performance of them. So just want to say it makes a lot of sense. I did my own thesis back in 2006 around this topic, like how to activate a marketing channel or a channel with partners to get more revenue. And one of those very simple lessons was to take away the barriers for them. Right? Like I've done in my car, and I pressed the buttons. I was a small vendor across a portfolio of a lot of large vendors, but they told me we like you because you make our life easier, and you generate business for us. You generate leads for us. That's what we want, and we don't have to do anything for it. And so I would just want to say that's important. What we just saw on the other slide, I'm just going back one slide, is if you just provide campaign kits, it's this huge misconception that I've seen in the last 20 years talking to hundreds of customers about TCMA, that just handing over the campaign kit is doing the work, is 90% of the work. That's not true. I've seen it over and over and over again, right? That's not 90% of the work. Stephanie will explain there's a little bit more work involved, but if you do it, you can have huge benefits. You can differentiate compared to the competition, for sure, right? And that's what I've also seen in the market. Our technology is the same for every customer. Some customers are not successful, some customers are very successful, right? So that's actually what I want to say. Oh, sorry, you want to say something?
I was just going to add on to that, and we talked about partner engagement. I'll touch on that really quickly. So we are actually, there's a lot of data within TCMA. There's a lot of data. So you can look at your most sent emails, your highest click-through rates, your best content, on and on and on. Drill into whatever you want. I'm looking at partner engagement every month, and I'm primarily looking at partners who are logging in. So we need to get in the portal. So that's one of the metrics I'm looking at. Are our logins going up every month? Are we seeing more people, more partners come to the portal? Super important. Emails, obviously. We want them to be generating leads. So that's important for us. Social media posts is my third one. And then my fourth one is asset downloads. So I'm really paying attention to those partner behaviors that I'm calling engagement. Like I said, there's a lot of other stuff going on in the portal that is fantastic, but I'm looking at those. And I think we have 27%. I'm seeing a 25 to 40% lift every single month, quarter over quarter in our partner engagement within the TCMA portal. Now that doesn't come without doing anything, and I'll get into some of the things we're doing to drive that later on. But that's a great stat to communicate. That's great to communicate to my leaders, our channel leaders, the sales teams. Everyone's really excited to see those partners engaging, and to finally have metrics around that is huge.
Yeah, thanks for that one, because if you talk about that 27% engagement, that means 27% of the partners that activated themselves in TCMA are actually engaged with the content, which means they send that email, they post a social post, right? That's that engagement. Jamie Payne last year mentioned like, hey, 2/3 of your partners will actually never do it, right? You've got TCMA, but 2/3 will never use it because they don't have the time. It's like my partners in the past, like, I don't have the time to do it. Right? But if you facilitate it for them, then you can make something happen. What Stephanie has been doing, which is really great, she almost got to that 30% already. Right? That's that 1/3 that you can activate, but you need to do something for it. You need to provide them convenience. So we sat down, I think it's almost 6 months ago, and because what we have been doing is Impartner, we said, like, let's have all those learnings of the last 20 plus year, talking to all those customers and have all that experience, like, what are the best practices to make that TCMA solution successful for you, to generate more revenue at the end? Because that's all why we are doing it, to engage with our partners and have them be more successful for them and for ourselves. So we wrote down a whole program, and we said, like, let's sit down with Stephanie and see whether she can benefit from this program. And I must say that she was already doing 90% of what we were saying here, but there were some small tweaks. I just want to say, like, I offer this to everybody here, right, that is using TCMA or start using the TCMA. Contact me. Just, Emile van de Klok, send me an email, contact me, and I will sit down like I've done with Stephanie, and we just go through the program. We just go through the 5 steps of my program, and we'll see, let's say, how I can help you to be more successful with it. Yeah? Okay. So, having said that, now we go into your best practices, right? How have you done this? So I would like you to explain a little bit first more around adoption. That means, like, how do you get your partners into the TCMA portal so that they subscribe themselves? Could you explain more about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, so when we first launched a little over a year ago, obviously communicating with a humongous ecosystem was our number one goal. Let's get the word out. And so we used, and make sure you don't forget this, internal and external communication. So we wanted to be driving the message with our internal teams who support our partners directly, who have those direct contacts on a weekly, daily basis with them, and then obviously the to-partner communication. So we sent out emails, newsletters, we did webinars in every single region. We did very customized webinars, one-on-one webinars. So we were really making sure to drive that home. We did social media campaigns. We put banners on our partner portal. We really did a huge splash when we first launched, and I think that was really important because we did see a lot of partners come in immediately and start using. The other thing that we did that I felt like was a good investment was we actually paid partners to send emails in the beginning. I know that seems a little bit crazy, but we paid them per email because I knew that once we could get them in the system and sending an email, get your account set up, it's the biggest hurdle, get your account set up, upload your list. Once they did that, all they have to do is click that button, schedule email, and it's so easy after that. So once we could do that, so we were paying them, and what we saw was the partners who came in took advantage of that incentive program. We paid them $100 per email, limit of 5. They kept sending emails. So those partners sent 10 emails, 15 emails, 20 emails, 40 emails. Okay, so that we kept going with that. And I know we're running short on time, so let me. The other thing that we did was we used the Journey Builder to create journeys right across the top of our homepage. So these are for the partners who are first coming in to say, here's where you go to set up your email account. Here's where you go to set up your social media account. Here's where you go to upload your contact list. And it guided them through exactly how to do that with the videos that Impartner creates, with the help guides that Impartner has. And then once they finish that, the button changes, and it just takes them where they need to go to actually do that activity.
So these are the journey builder, journeys in PRM itself, right? So this is where you can see the power of an integrated solution. She started using it with the help of Spur.
Yes.
I just want to mention that because I know that you're very happy with it. So one of our partners, Spur, has helped them to set this up. So could you explain more around, let's say, content itself? Because after adoption, you need the content, of course, to
Absolutely, yeah. And that's been really important too. So we're uploading new campaigns and content weekly. So this does not get stale. We're taking out the old content, we're updating materials, we're rolling out new campaigns to our partners, we're updating our showcase pages every time we change our brand, which seems to be too frequent. We have to update our showcase pages, but constantly adding new emails, new social campaigns, because we have partners literally using I think I have 72 social posts. I have partners that have posted 100 social posts. Like they're repeat posting our social posts. So that tells me that I need to keep adding content and keep materials in there for them. And as I do that, another thing that we're using is the workflows that exist, and we've heard a lot about that throughout this conference, the workflows that exist to communicate to partners. So I'm communicating with them, and actually let me show you just an example. So 3 days after they log in, I'm saying, hey, we have email campaigns. 10 days after they log in, hey, did you know we have social media programs? Here's some campaigns you can use in our social media board. 15 days after, come and check out our campaign playbooks. Maybe you want to just download the materials and use them yourself. Here's some campaign playbooks. And then again, every single time I upload a new campaign, something significant, a significant piece of content, I'm using workflows again to communicate with these partners so that they are being reminded that they have these resources available to them that we're creating specifically for them on a regular basis, multiple times every single month.
Yeah, and just to add on that one, because we had a conversation, of course, about this topic before we had the presentation. But what I really liked was, again, the workflows. Again, these are workflows from PRM. It's for the two-party communication, and it takes you around half an hour, I think, if you've got a new campaign kit, to get the communication out to the partners that are relevant, right? The partners that are using the platform. So how much time did it take before you started using this?
Oh, weeks. If I wanted to send a communication to a partner, I had to get on the schedule, and someone had to build it for me, and I had to fit in, and then they had to figure out who it was going to. It took weeks to get communication out. It was old news by the time I was able to communicate with our partners.
So again, I think this is, things that we can use from the PRM platform for TCMA to be more successful with TCMA, right? So it's not making the lives of the partners, only the lives of the partners easy. It's also making the life of you more easy. Now just a half an hour and just can release the campaign kit and communicate about this. How important are, let's say, the reports for you? So now you've got your partners adopted, you've got them engaged, you keep on communicating around, let's say, all the content that you create in the new campaign kits, but what do you do with the reporting?
Yeah, so the reporting, we talked about it a little bit, so I'll just touch on it briefly. Very robust reporting. And there's data in there that really, so our Palo Alto campaigns teams, they're asking me, what are the most downloaded assets? They want to know what's getting used. They want to know how our emails are performing so that they can make adjustments. How are our social media posts performing? And I will say that through these metrics, I've been very pleased, and so have they, with the results, because we're seeing about a 6% click-through rate across all of our partner emails. Our partners have posted over 800 social posts in the past year, and I'm seeing a 90% click-through rate on social posts. I think industry average is like 2.
Would you say your partner click-through rate is higher than yours, or is it the same?
Yes.
So partners have a higher click
Yes.
rate than you?
Yep. Absolutely. So I mean, that's pretty exciting to be able to report that the partners who are using the TCMA platform are actually seeing better results on their emails and their social posts than industry averages or even than our own direct marketing efforts.
And this also has to do, of course, with the quality of the content, right? If you have the right message, the right tone of voice, that you know, like, hey, this partner needs to send it to the end customer, so it has the tone of voice for the end customer, then you have better engagement. This is also part of that, let's say, partner onboarding and engagement program that we're talking about. So we did a quick sort of, check on the content, and there was not a lot to say about, but we had some advice on, let's say, the landing pages, better conversions with some gated assets and everything. But I just want to say, like, the content itself is very important to get to that ratio, but it's the partners that communicate to their end customers, right? And that's where you also see, like, that's more relevant because they want that information from their partner. So, and the proof is here, right? The better performance. One of the things that's coming up, by the way, and I know that you're desperately waiting for that one. Just want to say, within the reporting, we're gonna release pretty soon now new reporting around the exact progress on the onboarding progress. So that means if a partner goes in, they still need to do a couple of things. The adoption, right? They need to upload a list. They need to switch on automation if you want to use automation. And we're going to show exactly the reports per partner, like where are they in the onboarding progress, in the process. So that means that you can even be more targeted to say, like, hey, I can see that you've uploaded your list, but you haven't used the platform yet. So when are you going to use it? Or I see that you switched on the automation, or I see that you didn't switch on the automation, so when are you going to do it, right? So I know that you're waiting for it, but that's going to be really the next step.
Emile, I think we might have this time for a couple of questions, or if we want to just quickly conclude.
Yep, so let us finish up with this one.
Yeah. And I think really here we sort of talked about the engagement question mark, where we started, where we're at, and then, as Emile was saying, turning on that automation, which is really our next step, where we hope to then further drive that engagement up and really start seeing, being able to send those emails and do those social posts on behalf of partners who have given us that permission, who already trust us for other things. So trust us to be able to communicate with your audience on your behalf.
So we're going to start that journey. I just want to explain you based on other customer experiences. It's very difficult to get above, let's say, the 33% that 1/3 JVP was saying, just by everything that she's been doing. That's difficult, but you can get there, and we have seen those examples. That's by automation, and that's what I was saying. I did the job for the partner. They didn't do anything. They didn't have to do anything. These partners, 27, they still click the buttons to send an email or whatever, because they do have the people to do it. If you want to get to the 50+% engagement, you need that automation. And that's quite unique in our platform, that we can fully facilitate it. Yeah. So I think I'm going to skip this one. Maybe you could
key takeaways. You could take a picture, read through these. We've talked about all of them. Again, keep beating that drum internally and externally. We're in a year, I'm still doing webinars, at least 1 or 2 webinars a month. I'm still meeting with partners directly to help onboard them. So continue beating that drum. I still have internal people who are like, I just learned about LaunchPad, and these are not new people to Palo. So you have to keep communicating. You never know which email they're going to read. Explaining the why to partners, like we talked about, why is this important? How is this going to make your life easier? Facilitating onboarding, training webinars we talked about, incentivizing them to actually use the platform. I think that's really huge. If you're able to do that, give that a try. Content, communicating, reading it really quickly, the automation, and then the last thing I didn't mention is I actually also launched an internal reward, because marketing people don't always get spiffs. It's always the salespeople, right? So I actually launched an internal reward for our marketing people. If they worked with a partner to get them into the platform to send an email, I also paid them for that. So I was trying to really hit that as on a 2-pronged basis, rewarding marketing people for getting people into LaunchPad and just, again, helping them see how to upload their lists and how to send that first email. That's the biggest hurdle. So Anyway,
Thank you very much. I
much.
just want to say, we learned so much from Palo Alto best practices. So my, let's say, book of best practices has been, added a couple of pages here based on all the awesome things that you can use. So thanks a lot for explaining this. Who has questions? Because I think that's what we want to do right now.
The sign of a great session is the number of photos that are taken of your slides. And based off of that metric, this was a very valuable session. My key takeaways were click rates of partners are sometimes higher than our own. And incentive management is highly valuable in this. And that you guys have a workflow engine that you can use today in the application, part of the base solution that you can use to sequence and continue that engagement with partners. Oh, and stale content sucks. I think I also got that right.
Yes.
So thank you. A big round of applause.